Welcome back. Stoney is here, and for the last time this season, we're going to break down a Lions game. And this one, you didn't think they were going to win, but still difficult to see it play out the way it did because it's fundamentals. Just a lack of tackling, getting off the field on third down, just frustrates you as a football fan.
As a fan, you're sitting there, and look, let's give them credit. They came out with a gate, driving down the field. But even early on, first drive of the game, first time New Orleans had the ball, I believe, it was a third down and like 10 or whatever, little dump pass, broken tackle, they make the first down. Now, they end up fumbling the ball later on, if my memory serves me correct. But it was just, and that seemed to set the tone. There were so many times during that game where all they had to do was make a tackle.
So insulting to see them go for it on fourth down inside their own 40. I mean, that is the ultimate insult to a defense.
Because Sean Payton knew that this defense couldn't stop anyone. And Schwartz talked about it after the game, and as a fan, you see the same thing. The missed opportunities when balls go through your hands that should have been interceptions, or at least maybe even Eric Wright had a chance for a pick six. And it's a shame because for the most part, you saw what the offense did. They did their part, and you knew they'd have to score more than 28 to win the game. But the defense, it just fell apart. And I don't know where the blame lies. Do you blame it on the players?
Well, let me ask you this question. Is this team going to get a little bit of a break because of what it did accomplish in getting to the playoffs? Or do you feel that this team underachieved and should have done better with the group of talent that it had?
Defensively, or you mean the whole team?
Whole team.
No, they did not underachieve. They were a playoff team. They certainly were not as good as the New Orleans Saints. Now, could they have beaten the Giants today if they'd have taken care of business last week? Maybe. Giants played pretty well. So, no, I don't think they underachieved. When you sit back and look at the whole season, you have to say, okay, it was a good season. We made the playoffs. We're making the progressions. But as far as the defense goes, the last 2 weeks to give up almost 1,200
mesmerizing
yards,
number.
It's crazy. And this was supposed to be.
It also, though, is two, and Matt Shepard pointed this out last night with me, two of the best offenses the NFL has ever seen. So you got to cut them a little bit of slack in that regard. But 1,200 yards is 1,200 yards.
Exactly. And last week it was, I don't care, it was Matt Flynn. All right, it wasn't Aaron Rodgers. But in the fact that they got the 1,200 yards on a lot of plays on yardage where all they have to do is tackle, wrap up, and it's there. And, yeah, the defense, to me, underachieved. We thought we had this vaunted pass rush. They tried to make a nickname in the offseason, right? Remember that?
Silver Crush.
Silver Crush. Where was the Silver Crush? A little bit the last couple of weeks, but not much. I think the defensive line was a major disappointment.
Now, is anybody on the hot seat? Should we be talking about the fact that Gunther Cunningham should be concerned for his job?
No, I think he should be concerned for his job. I don't know if Jim Schwartz is going to make that move, but the defense did not live up to their half of the bargain this season. They didn't, for whatever reason. Whether guys got older or, Van den Bosch, people like that, they did not get the quarterback like they did last year. Sue, forgetting about the personal stuff with the suspension, he was not as good as he was last year. Fairley was injured. They had some problems. This was not a dominant defense that people thought, that defensive line that we thought we had. Linebackers, better than last year, but when it came to the big game, no.
All right, there's holes. Clearly, you got to address a lot of things in the secondary. And we're not even going to get into the whole free agent thing and who you go after, but you are going to have Cliff Averill, who's out there as a free agent. You're going to have Stephen Tulloch, and you're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of money. So if you're looking at what you got on your own plate, who are you going to try to bring back?
I think you're going to have to try to bring back Averill and Tulloch if you can afford both of them. If not, then there's a decision that has to be made. Now, do you free up money by letting, dare I say, Channel 7's own Nate Burleson go? Just to free up any money, or somebody like Kyle Van den Bosch? I don't know, because they have to make improvements. Just keeping their own guys is not going to be enough to make this team better. They have to have money to go get somebody.
I don't see that happening, just with the leadership that those two guys bring to the locker room.
I understand.
You bring up a discussion point at least.
Maybe restructure their contracts because they need money to get better. And all in all, it was a good season, just was not a great season. 2 straight losses to end is not good. And, yeah, Gunther Cunningham should be concerned. I'm not crazy about this, alignment that the wide 9 or whatever the heck they call it.
Well, fitting, we spent a lot of time talking about the Lions. We don't have a lot of time now for the Stoneheads. Sorry to do that to you, but who are you landing on this week?
Real quick, 2 coaches, Mark Richt at the University of Georgia and David Shaw at Stanford, for being so conservative with their chance to win a football game. You saw it in the game against Michigan State. Aaron Murray goes backwards, set up a field goal, the guy misses. Andrew Luck, I think he's like one of the best players in the country.
Let him try to score.
Take the ball out of his hands. Didn't. Stanford missed a field goal. They lose. Mark Richt, David Shaw, Stoneheads. By the way, last week, Stonehead, he heard the award, he relented, and now D'Anthony Arnett is a Michigan State Spartan.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Try to go for a touchdown next time.
Yes.
This is Mike Stone, 6 to 10 on 97.1, Monday to Friday. Thanks as always for being with us. Stay right where you are. The update continues right after this.